Hello everyone, Vincent here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to discuss how to enter the boss node Merrow in Sedna and how to defeat Kela De Thaym. The same thing with the Ambulas in Hades, you need to collect special items, in Merrow's case Judgement Points, before you can enter the node to defeat Kela. To earn Judgement Points, you need to run one of these three mission nodes, Naki, Yam, or Vodyanoi, which are all found in Sedna just before Merrow. These three nodes are what's known as the Rathuum arena, where the Tenno are pitted against Kela's executioners. Clearing one of these nodes will reward you with varying amounts of points per node. The only differences between each of the different Rathuum arenas are the levels of the executioners, the amount of judgment points needed to enter, and the amount of judgment points you win. The mechanics and the tile sets are the same throughout the three arenas. The first node, Naki, requires 0 judgment points and rewards you with 10 when you win. The executioners will be at level 40. Yam requires 10 judgment points to enter but rewards you with 15. And lastly, Vodyanoi requires 15 judgment points but rewards you with 25 when you finish the mission. Each node also has their own drop table, which you can check out in the wiki. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Here's how the Rathuum arena works. You need to get 25 kills before the executioners do. Both you and the executioners have an 8-second respawn timer when killed, and the executioners will always outnumber you by one member, regardless of how many you are in a squad. There are multiple types of executioners that can spawn, each having their own unique tactics and equipment. The arena also applies a random modifier that can either help you or debilitate you against the executioners. There are currently 11 modifiers that the game can choose from, and the game will choose one from these modifiers every time you start the node. The chosen modifier will last until the mission ends. You could cheese the Rathuum arena before by using Ash and a dagger that has Covert Lethality installed. Today, Covert Lethality only gives you 160% finisher damage, but before the update that changed it, the mod made finisher moves kill any enemies regardless of their remaining health. Ash has an augment mod that allows him to automatically perform a finisher move after using his third ability, Teleport, on an enemy. This made the executioners just run around the arena looking for you while you killed them with just one ability while invisible. I still tried to do the arena with Ash today, but instead of using his third ability, I used his fourth ability like it do with any other mission nodes. It takes more time and effort, but since you are invisible, you just need to make sure you don't get caught inside the blast radius of some of the executioners' attacks, and the arena should still be fairly easy. Once you collect 25 judgment points, you can now enter Merrow to try and defeat Kela De Thaym. To reach her, just bullet jump your way across the map until you reach the objective marker. Once there, you'd notice that it just led you to a circular room and seems to be a dead end. This is one of Kela's gimmicks, so be sure to remember this. In the center of the room that looks like a circular lift, there should be 4 glowing circular objects that look like pressure plates. Each pressure plate corresponds to one player, so all present squad members need to step on their chosen pressure plate. Face directly outward the circular lift and you should see a spinning device on the wall that has holes in it. And peeking through those holes are button-like objects that glow in either orange or green. What you need to do here is to shoot the green button behind the hole. All players need to shoot the green button simultaneously to start the lift and begin the cutscene that introduces Kela. Kela has alloy armor and shield, so modding for radiation and cold damage can deal significant damage to her. After the cutscene ends, Kela will jump in the middle of the lift that you are in and it will deal damage to you. I suggest moving away from it and deal with Kela using range attacks. Kela loves to jump around the arena and will sometimes even cling to walls while shooting missiles at you, so always be aware of where she is. The first phase of the boss fight is relatively simple. Just attack her until she loses a third of her health. This will make her transition into phase 2. She will become invulnerable and jump away from the arena, hiding behind the safety of her control room. She will then initiate an orbital strike that will deal serious damage to you, so be sure to dodge them. Afterwards, the pressure plates will light up again and you need to step on it to make the device on the wall spin. This time, the buttons will light up green one by one with a random pattern and you need to shoot all 4 green buttons. This time, it needs to be done to all 4 devices regardless of how many you are in the squad. Kela will also call orbital strikes every 15 seconds while you do this, and rollers will spawn and try to knock you off of the pressure plates or distract you from aiming the devices. So it is a matter of balancing, dodging the orbital strike and rollers and staying on the pressure plate to shoot the green buttons on the wall. After all the green buttons are shot on all 4 devices, Kela will once again jump in the middle of the arena. At this phase, she will start to cling onto the walls and use her rocket launcher to barrage you with multiple missiles and make it hard for you to attack her with your melee weapons. Reduce her health to a third again and she will enter phase 3. Phase 3 is essentially the same as phase 2. Just activate the devices on the wall while evading the orbital strike and rollers. She will once again come back to the arena and this time you can finish her off for good. Kela is a pretty overwhelming boss fight for a beginner because of her confusing gimmicks and ridiculous high damage output with her orbital strikes. Without the proper Warframe and sufficient damage output to solo or duo Kela, it is advisable to bring a full squad to this fight, especially on sorties. But of course, there's a way to cheese this fight. The thing about Kela is she mostly has high burst damage attacks, but she doesn't have many multiple hits attacks. One Warframe is perfect for this kind of scenario: Revenant. Revenant can be a bit of a task to farm and acquire, but if you have him already, you can make this fight ridiculously easy even on certain level and playing solo. Revenant is basically invulnerable as long as his second ability, Mesmer Skin, is active. Mesmer Skin only decreases when it gets hit, regardless of the amount of damage that the attack can otherwise inflict on Revenant. This will make you ignore Kela's orbital strike and casually snipe the green buttons on the wall. Its other effect on enemies is also what we're aiming for to fight Kela with. When enemies attack Revenant while Mesmer Skin is active, they will go to sleep. This is useful to stop rollers from continuously distracting you from shooting the green buttons. But this can also affect Kela, making her immobile and stop her from jumping around the arena. But that's not all. Once Kela is asleep, you can use your first ability on her for free. You need to use Revenant's first ability to make his third ability deal huge amounts of damage. So here's what you need to do. Make sure that Mesmer Skin is active, and after the cutscene ends, stand near the middle of the arena instead of away from it. When Kela hits you, she will fall asleep. Quickly use your first ability and damage her with your third ability. You will deal large amounts of damage on her with just one hit. And not only that, you are safe from all sources of damage for the remainder of the fight as long as you can maintain Revenant's second skill, which shouldn't be hard to do. Kela will wake up after damaging her with your third skill, however, and if you didn't deal enough damage to make her transition to the next phase, you still need to damage her. You can trick her into attacking you and repeat the previous steps, but bringing a decent weapon to finish her off is easier and faster. Be mindful when refreshing your second skill as well, as Revenant will be completely vulnerable when it casts the ability. If you don't have Revenant, you can still solo Kela even on certain level, but it's going to be tedious. Not because Kela is a bullet sponge, but because it will be hard to shoot the green buttons while worrying about the orbital strikes. Not to mention the rollers consistently knocking you off the pressure plates. I did not come up with this Revenant Cheese on my own, and I will be linking the video of where it originally came from. But what you need to remember is to mod Revenant for ability strength and duration. Strength increases the amount of damage that the third ability will deal, and duration will increase the amount of hits that you can take before Revenant's second ability runs out. Then just put Kela to sleep and use your first ability to strengthen the damage of your third ability. Repeat these steps until she's dead. If you've reached this part of the video, I thank you so much. The next video should be about general tips for playing the game before I tackle the remaining bosses. Like the video if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends, subscribe for more videos like this, Thank you once again and I'll see you on the next video.